Well, hello, my friends. I am Lady Leeanna, and this is Tarot Card Lessons Made Easy with none other than Lady Leeanna. And today I wanted to talk about a certain figure that had made an appearance in the 90s, and a lot of you might remember Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo did many infomercials portraying herself to be a psychic reader, tarot card reader, etc., but led a network of people that would work under her. And eventually it was found that Miss Cleo was a fraud. She was taken down, she was shamed, and I believe imprisoned. But they had found that even her accent was phony, that she was a fraud in every sense of the word. Now, just because Miss Cleo was a fraud doesn't mean that all of the psychics that had worked under her were likewise a fraud. And in fact, I'm sure some of them would have been good psychics. But who knows? I mean, because that was such a long time ago. And what sparked my inspiration on this particular matter today, please excuse the train sound if you can hear it, I'm sure you can. But what sparked my inspiration on this today was that I stumbled upon a video where a guy was kind of reviewing a Miss Cleo tarot card deck, which I never knew had even existed. Nor would I have even cared if I did, but I guess some people would. Nonetheless, there are a lot of different tarot cards out there, and my feelings on that in particular is that, you could draw a great amount of different symbols on 78 tarot cards, rustically or very well formulated, printed with really nice pictures or very crudely done. You could read any of that, no matter what is there. I guess what I'm trying to say in that is that all tarot card decks in their own right is valid. That doesn't mean that all psychics are, because the way I view it is there are a great many frauds out there. A great many people that like to think that they have the gifts and don't, and truly believe that they do. There are a great many people that are just out there to take advantage of you, or clients in particular, without batting an eye, and especially since the coronavirus, where I feel that true psychics are the needle in the haystack. Tarot cards, every tarot card deck, I assure you, has some validity in the fact that it could be interpreted. So, all tarot cards are valid. What system might work for you best is up to you. There are so many different psychics, there are so many different readers, and there are so many different tarot cards that could benefit them. I know on my wholesale dealer that there are 138 tarot card decks that are being sold just under them. I'm sure that it outnumbers that. However, they're really, really pretty cards. And then there are very crudely drawn cards. And there are cards with just the right amount of contrast color to pictures and not overwhelmingly crammed in with pictures or beautification. And my outlook on that is that the beautification of it takes away from what you're really there for. You're looking at art then. And you're more interpreting it in a way that would be synonymous with an art dealer trying to decipher what the artist's ideas was on the whole painting, right? Where as a tarot card reader, as a psychic reader, we're not looking at what the artist was thinking or what he was trying to lay out before you here as far as art goes. What we're trying to do is dig into the mind, vibrate with the client and what is going on with them, and delving into the card to find the images that resonate with you most in each card, as well as to identify several cards together to create a story that is going to then play into your head and express to you an idea in the form of what is supposed to be going on in the life of the client that is before you, or the querent, or the subject, if it's not a client. And so it's not easy. And yet at the same time, it's not overly complex. It's more of a matter of digging into your own spiritual self, opening your mind up and letting it just kind of swallow you, right? Letting yourself go into this that lays before you, and not to interpret what was in the mind of an artist who painted these cards, but to go into the life of a subject or querent that is needing your help and wanting you to interpret their life for them. You know, tell them what you see going on in the future. So there's a lot to it, and yes, there are a lot of good and true psychic readers out there. But there is a world of con artists. There's a world of people who think that they have the gifts, and everybody does. But it's the place at which you evolve that psychic ability within you too, to where you could use it and bring it out to where it would be beneficial to the people that you're talking to. I think that that is very, very useful information. That right there. How good of a psychic can you be? Are you going to be the one that cons people and just really don't work to build up your psychic ability? Or are you going to be the one that just thinks that you have a psychic ability that surpasses others, but you're not putting in enough effort, or you're not understanding enough for it to be tangibly where it needs to be able to work for somebody, or to be able to guide somebody within their life without actually hurting them in some way, form, or fashion? Or are you going to be a true psychic that's studying all the different meanings, all the different symbols, be it Native American, be it pagan symbols, be it Christian theology symbols, be it just basic common sense symbols, you know, that you pick up on in the world, and then maybe meditate on each individual card for 20 minutes a day to let that card just speak to you of all of the different things that it could be saying. And not all of those meanings are going to apply to each and every client, because an individual reading is going to take you on a path that will guide someone in the right direction on this particular notion within that card, and not on all of the notions within each and every one of the cards, because not all of the meanings are going to be right for each client or subject or querent. You know, I'm used to reading on a professional basis, so I could tend to say client a lot, and you'll just have to forgive that. But I've been reading for 40 years. I would not allow myself to read on a professional level for 16 of those 40 years, because I didn't feel that it would be fair to the subject, the querent, etc. Now, I would allow myself to read for models in the last 6 of those 16 years, right? I would ask people to let me read for them on a free basis, and tell them take it with a grain of salt because I'm a student, even if it were a student unto myself, or really a student unto all of the book writers that I would read from, or people that I would get ideas from that knew what they were doing, right? And so basically, I would take friends and families that really wanted me to try to read them, and I would sit down with them, and I was good. I had already, by the way, been reading for a decade, or studying for a decade, in the deepest nature of the cards, to get all of the meanings and understandings of it. So, by the time I was reading for models, I was pretty seasoned, I guess, at least with my understandings. But now I was forming those understandings into real life readings that I was doing for people as models. And that helped to further meld me in the direction that I needed to go into to be actually valuable to the people I would read for. And so at 16 years, I called myself a professional reader, and I opened to doing clients here and there, on a professional basis. And at that time, I believe it was $20 for a 30-minute reading for me. That was my price. And that was in, 2000? No. 1996, I want to say. And that's just guessing, 96. Anyway, yeah. So basically, we can lose our time variables there whenever we get to a certain age and we've done a certain amount of anything. So, I need to put the whirly-bird music around my head whenever I do the editing on this video. But you get what I mean, right? Basically, I felt that a certain amount of form needed to take shape within me to be able to be valid enough to be able to help people, and justly to where I knew that within my heart of hearts that I wasn't going to guide them wrongly and get them hurt in some way, form, or fashion, which is quite possible out there, And so I guess really what this video is truly about is, how much of a valid, valuable reader do you want to be? How much do you want to help people? And how much do you care about not hurting others with your readings? And surely enough, you're not going to stop the con artists out there that are just doing it to earn money, and they've learned how to, I guess, fish. Yeah, fish. And even to some degree, read people's actions and reactions so that when they say things and it looks like it's not setting well with the client, they can reformulate it before the client has a chance to say anything, and then it can help the client to feel better about them, right? There are those people, and you don't want to be one of those people, really, because it just puts you in a whole nest of other scammers and con artists out there, and God knows there's plenty of those in the world. We, as humans, have 5 senses that are well talked about, but we have the 6th sense, which is very vaguely talked about, and if it wasn't something that we were all entitled to, it wouldn't be called the 6th sense, meaning that everyone has the gift of psychic abilities. Everyone can use these abilities. And even scammers or con artists may be telling people correctly at some points in time, even when they don't know that they are. And so there could be a certain amount of validity in the things that they're saying. And maybe on some light moments, they may help somebody. But that doesn't make them good. Their intentions are bad. And so it makes them invalid as a business individual, as a caring individual, as a spiritualist. And what we strive to be is that good guru, spiritualist that will just level out, breathe in, and take in all of this from above and bring it out in our tarot cards, in our crystal balls, in our general crystals, our rune sets, our water scrying, our fire scrying, and any other kind of scrying that we might choose to do. And that is a real reader. That is a true spiritualist who deserves to be able to call themselves a reader because they really strive to help somebody. They really try to vibrate with that spiritual, psychic presence that is within them and bring it out in themselves for true knowledge and wisdom. Anyhow, I mean, this is not a rant. I am not feeling rantful or anything like that. I am feeling pretty passionate about it. And when I do, then I will go into a good tutorial about the things that I feel about things. And these are truly the way that I feel. And if a person doesn't feel the same way, I feel that they don't have, the right to be able to call them a valid psychic reader, someone that is out there to help other people. And yes, you can go into this just for the business of it. But that's not very inspirational of you. It's not very passionate. It's not very thought provoking, or it's not going to do anything for anybody. And eventually, because you're not really feeling it anyway, you'll move on to your next biggest thing, and it'll become a thing of the past pretty quickly. And so really, these are my thoughts on the matter. I think that if a person can open a deck of tarot cards and they feel really inspired by those pictures and notions within the cards, it strikes a certain chord with them. It makes them feel a certain something that makes them want to dig deeper and deeper and deeper within these cards. And I'm talking tarot card readers, by the way, not just generally psychic readers. I'm sorry. But it inspires them, and I guess it would be the same with other scryers, but with other tools as well. But they would feel inspired, and they would want to dig, and they would want to know more about the story in this card. And there is a world of stories in each individual card, just like there is a world of stories in the world of people around us, as it should justly be, right? And so this is my well-formed thoughts about it. So if you really intend to be a psychic reader in the true sense of the word, then I implore you to dig into your crystal, into your rune set, into your tarot cards, into whatever tool you choose to use. Hell, the Ouija board. Just be careful and always make sure you're in a protected circle when you do it. You don't want the evil, trust me. And really, with all of these tools, especially when you're new, maybe you should practice in a consecrated circle. My area that I do my tarot card readings at, let me show you. My area in which I do my tarot cards at over here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this right. My table, my whole area here. I keep it cleaned all the time, spiritually cleansed. Because I don't want something negative, dark, or evil coming through here. I want it knocked off of the person before they come in this door, and that's what happens. When a person comes in, then generally, whatever, they're checking their evil at the door, for lack of better terms. And so, that is going to be something that assures me that it's not going to degrade my cards. I'm not going to end up having to dwell in this place in darkness for weeks or whatever amount of time it takes to get rid of it if it's something truly evil. And some of these things will take quite a bit of time. But, this is my thoughts on things. Really, I was inspired by that Miss Cleo video. And it reminds me, there were all kinds of psychic networks, and I guess there still are. I don't get regular TV here. I watch paid for stuff, where it doesn't show all of these infomercials and all of that. But there are the psychic networks. There was the Miss Cleo thing, and I'm sure there are others out there. But these big networks like this, some of them will definitely put their readers through the ringer to make sure that they're good, true psychics before they will hire them. And others will just slap people in there because they're wanting to fill up their network so that they could look big, do more business, and actually get more broadly known, I guess. And so I really hate that we're given a bad name out here in this day and age. And I can understand the people that kind of down us in a way, but only because of some of our predecessors, I guess that's the proper word, our people that came before us, predecessors, I'm sorry, those people that came before us, and how they invalidated us, made us all look fake when we're not, when there are so many people that have these gifts. But now we could be considered a laughingstock at certain points in times, and that really bothers me. Of course, what people that are saying things about us in a bad way, those people, they don't really think about separating us out from the con artists. Because a lot of times they think, well, psychic, that don't exist. So everybody, therefore, must be con artists. So why would they worry about separating us out? I understand they're thinking in that way of a non-believer. Especially with people out there that are supposed to be us and who are not, and instead are just faking people out and then getting busted doing that, and then we get a bad rep. And that just really sucks to be us. I guess other people on different jobs do too. It's not just us. Although we could think about just us in this regard, because we're the ones being hurt in this particular instance. So, whenever I first saw the Miss Cleo commercials, I really liked her sunny, personality, or the way she seemed. But I also felt that there was this cloud behind her, kind of a vortex of non-existence, for lack of better terms. Something that kind of told me that things weren't right with her. Even if she could, in the front, look like a really good, bright and sunny, airy person. So you wanted to like her. But at the same time, as a psychic, then you felt something back there that made you draw back, saying, and my whole point in this is, when you get together with other psychic readers, unintentionally a lot of the time. Like, I've had a gypsy mom and dad come into my store here, and I have nothing against gypsy people. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of very good readers there. And I'm not saying that these people weren't. But they did come in there, and I felt like they were there to test me from the time they walked in the door. And the whole time I was reading for them, then it shaped more and more and more to where I felt like I was there to be tested. And to such an extent that I said, and I turned and I looked at the mother and I said, why do I feel like I'm being tested here? And they said, well, we're not here to test you, you know. Well, we run the other psychic place just right there about 7-8 miles down, and we wanted to come in and, you know, see, you know, have you do our reading because we can't be objective. And I say, yeah. That's why you've been so dismissive of me in the last half of this reading, and why I felt from the beginning of the reading that you were there to be my tester, to be my Achilles heel, if you could, you know. And so they didn't stick around long. They paid me for the reading. I told them, I said, you know what? Let's just say, let's call it even. You do not have to pay me because you came in here not having faith in me to begin with. And obviously, you don't feel good about me to begin with. And let's just call this a teaching lesson for all of us. And then you can go home and go your way. They're like, no, we'll pay you, da-da-da-da-da. And they paid and they left. That's one prime example of the different kind of vibrations you'll get from people that come in there that are also psychic readers or value themselves to be psychic readers. Other instances, you'll get the Miss Cleo effect, is what I now entitle it as of today. The Miss Cleo effect. Let's call it that vortex in the back behind of a person that's sucking all kinds of energy out, you know, or emitting all kinds of energy, one way or the other, because a vortex can move both ways, right? But an energy back behind an individual that's just blank of anything really fathomable as being true, honest, you know, or valid. Something that really lacks some kind of substance. I don't know how I'm trying to word this here. Something that lacks any kind of, I don't know, substance that says that there's something here to be listened to, for lack of better terms. Try to make sense out of what I'm saying here. But it's that vortex back behind a person that says there's something missing here. Something being sucked away, and maybe even something being emitted that's not really good, you know. And so although you want to like this person, it's time to change the channel or to walk out of their presence or get gone. Then there's those people that value themselves to be readers that are energy vampires. And basically the whole time you're in their presence, you feel them sucking everything out of you that you could possibly, you know, conjure up inside of you, you know. And so you imagine yourself by 10 minutes in being that paper doll cutout in the wall where you could see the outside world through that paper doll cutout, and that cutout was you like 5 minutes ago, and you running through the wall creating that hole to get away from this individual, you know. And then there is that this person don't know dipshit about what they're saying. They want to learn. They think that they are well evolved in the reading, in their reading abilities, but they don't know anything yet. and you can read that out of them. And then there's that this person is lying to me about all that they are kind of energy that you get from another kind of person that values themselves as a reader, but they're coming to you as a client, and you're like, this person is lying to me about all they are, and I don't know what their reasoning is, but I can bet you 9 ways to send it that they are just not wanting to face the reality within themselves as to different things that are going on with them. And so, the reading is just about going to be worthless because you can't be honest with them. And if you're like me and only tell the truth within a reading, then, you may as well in that reading charge them for the time that you put in with them and then call it even, right? So, I mean, these are different kind of readings you'll get. And then the con artist that says that they're a reader, they charge people, and you know that they have the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, and just generally don't really care about what they're doing, but came in to get a reading from you. They're wanting to believe. And they're doing it on and this will surface eventually throughout the reading too. If you stay there reading for them, it'll surface that they are reading for other people, and yet they don't know what they're doing, and they know that they don't know what they're doing. And so it's kind of crazy, but it's true. It's there, and it happens. So, I guess that's kind of what this video was about today. Just inspirationally talking to you about the different energies within psychic readings, within psychic readers that you get, and, the value of being faithful and caring about that which you do in your trade, if you're going to do it as a trade. And I'll figure out what I'm going to name this video after the fact. I'll probably listen to it back, But I feel like there's a lot of good, valuable information in here, especially to people that intend to do this on a professional level. For one thing, to help them decide what kind of reader you're going to be. And that's probably the name of my video right there. What kind of a psychic reader are you going to be? What kind of a psychic reader are you? Exclamation point. Make the people question that title, and that sounds good. But, it is. It's about what kind of a psychic reader are you? What kind of psychic reader are you going to be? How faithful are you going to be in your trade? How far are you going to take it with your knowledge and wisdom? I think that is a good question to ask yourself at the very beginning, if you're at the beginning. That way, there'll not be a question, and you'll be able to succeed if that's your true motive. Anyway, this has been Lady Leeanna, and I do support these videos and this channel by doing my own psychic readings on a professional level. If you care to support my channel, and I would really appreciate it if you would, please enlist my aid for a psychic reading by contacting me at the email mysticshadowinsights@gmail.com, and you can find that email address in the description below the videos likewise. Alright, take care of yourself, and brightest regards. Take care of yourself, and happy reading. Bye-bye.